Hello, good morning. We are back. We are in the original studio, we'll call it, of these videos. And so it's, very appropriate. I've got the staple breakfast and settled back in. It felt kind of weird. I contemplated going outside because I really like that. So maybe I will. But chances are we've all had that moment in life where we had an incident that happened that changed us for, I don't know, maybe better or worse. In my case, the specific incident I am talking about, I would have thought at the time was for the worse, like by far for the worse. And looking back, I can see how this incident that broke my heart at the time led to a chain of events that altered my life completely. It took the trajectory on a path, and it was just like instantly that path was closed. It was a dead end. It was no more. There was a brand new path. And I took this path. And on this path, this is what led to the greatest transformation of my entire life. This is what led to the beautiful life I have now. And I can see, looking back, all of the stepping stones in place that I had to go through. And so I never really understood while this event had happened, except now, looking back, I see that it was a path altering. But I never really understood why it had to alter my path, why I couldn't have gone that way. But we don't always know why. And living in the past is completely inhibits where you're going. It inhibits the greatness of this adventure. So it wasn't until I got back from this trip that living in flow, you never really know what's going to happen. You have rough ideas and you kind of play with it and you'll make plans and you leave room, but the unexpected happens all the time. And I had an idea to do this, like, I don't know if I want to call it like a practice, like Dolores Cannon does the subconscious regressions, and I've taken her courses and I know how to do it. So I did a subconscious hypnosis and working through it. It was beautiful. And while at the time I'm thinking that this is going to be for the person, it had these moments in it that just rocked me to my core. What came out of this person rocked me to my core and brought up the exact emotions that were triggered with that roadblock. And I realized that the path I'm on, it's not necessarily everybody's on the same path. We don't even have the same canvas, so we're not working on the same thing. But my specific path is, and the reason I'm even describing this is because it's a mirror. So I work inspiration led, and so if I'm guided to lead the story, it's because it's going to be something that you can look at and reflect in your own life and take from it what you need to get. And every person that's listening to this isn't even hearing the same thing. You're hearing what you need to hear and what you need to take from it. So this is absolutely for you. I know because I get things from everybody, everywhere. Everybody is a teacher. Everybody is that reflection of us. So this incident happened and these emotions were triggered and I wasn't expecting it. And I have been on a journey of the subconscious mind. That is my bread and butter. That is where I am very comfortable and very confident. And hypnosis, hypnotherapy, tunings with energy, and just all of it, it's my calling. It's my dharma. It's what feels like I've done it before. It feels like I know what I'm doing. There's information and downloads that are coming that when I'm working in the flow, where I'll do things that I'm like, I don't even know that I knew how to do that. And it's just so intuitive. It feels like when I watch a basketball player like in flow dribbling down that court, making that free throw shot, and just, I guess you don't dribble down the court and make a free throw. You can tell I don't watch basketball. Dribbling down the court, making that 3-point shot, that's gotta be right. And it's how I feel, like that moment of flow, how it's just, you know what you're going to do before you even do it. And it's just easy. You're executing. So while in that flow, I get led to this moment that brings up all of the past. And that is my goal. I want to bring up personally all of the things that don't serve me and alchemize them. I want to take all of the moments of my life burning down, all of the times I resisted, and transmute it and bring it within and turn it into something beautiful, because that's the right and gift we all have. It's our birthright that we have this beautiful garden in our subconscious mind, and it's up to us how we tend to it. Are we going to plant negative seeds and let them grow into negative things in our life? Or are we going to go pull those suckers out at the root and thank them for the lesson that led to now this beautiful garden that we can create, because we have learned that lesson, because the pendulum has swung in both directions and we're choosing neutral, and we know what we want to plant, and we know exactly what we want because we know what we don't want. And so in the subconscious mind, this analogy of this beautiful garden, I had this portion of it that I would have never been able to fully access and excavate and turn into this like alchemized beautiful garden if I didn't have those specific emotions triggered, which is why the universe is bloody brilliant bringing this up the way that it did. And so it was incredible to feel them, and at this time have a choice. Because before, I was living an unconscious life, and I just almost, like it was video game code. You type in what happens and the reaction was set. The programs in my body were set. I remember feeling at the time like I wanted to do something different. Like I wanted that path still, but I couldn't. I could not let myself do it because there wasn't trust on that path. And so it was boom, shut door. And I see now the beauty and the brilliance of this game that had to happen to get me on this path. Looking back, I see each stepping stone from this elevated perspective. And I can see now the beauty of the game and how this incredible event that I would say was the worst thing that ever happened to me was one of the best things that ever happened to me, because it leveled me up to get to this point, to then trigger those emotions again and be able to choose differently from a conscious place, from an awareness, from being in my inner beingness in the back near that waterfall, just chilling, just watching it happen and seeing like, okay, I see the game. I see the programs being triggered. I see that I want to react that same way I reacted before because I haven't cleansed and cleared this emotion. I see that it's the same emotional reaction. And this time I can just let it pass, and then I can go in and remove it at the root. And I can choose how I'm going to show up moving forward based on what I actually want in this life. I don't know if this is landing with like the same level of intensity that this actually was to live. And I'm hoping that I'm able to capture it, this knowings and the flow and just the beauty of it into words. I haven't attempted to describe this to anyone. So it's all just for you. And that's the gift of meditation. Because when you meditate, you create stillness and you create space, and you take this impacted life that clearly this is what I was living before. When the door swung and it's like the train and you take the other tracks. This is what I was living. And then it was down this path with the stepping stones that led to the breaking point of a lot of times when people become aware, it's because life has been so tragic, victim-y, terrible that you're forced awake. Sometimes it's through, beauty or other ways, but a lot of times it's through intense suffering that you realize, holy crap, like this can't be it. And you just enter into a state of full surrender and full, like, I give up. Like, you stop fighting it. You stop thinking you know better than the game. And it was in this finding these books, and I've done a video before on reading your surroundings is what I think I called it, which is about like the spiritual books and the way that like led the path that primed my mind and opened it right up. But it was actually life like burning down and me trying to execute these game codes that weren't working. And it's almost like your character is like walking into a wall, and you're going to try all these different things walking into the wall because you think you know better, because you're so disconnected. Because when we're like this, we're completely disconnected from source. We're not plugged in. We don't have the intuition. We don't have the whispers. We don't have the flow coming through that's saying, take a left, Katie, take a left, take a left. And I'm going right. And it's not until you stop and give up and surrender and allow it. And then through that journey, you find space and stillness and meditation. A lot of times it's different for every person, but it's in the meditation that I would say is the same for every person, whatever that means to you. And a lot of times it's just following guided meditations for a while till you get it. And some people are, my husband's naturally like just always loved climbing mountains, and he would climb mountains, and it was like this solitude of him, just like this repetitive, it was almost like a walking meditation where he's just, you know, purging his thoughts and cleansing and clearing them and moving forward. And he didn't even know that's what he was doing. So for some people, it's like that, you find it. But for others, we need the guided meditation, and we listen to that monkey mind and we work through it. And then we get back in the driver's seat and we create that space and we make the room, and then we remove the emotions and we begin to get our life back. And then through surrender, you eventually are hearing the whispers, and you're living through intuition, and you're living in the flow, and that you all of a sudden have this beautiful life that is being guided, and you can follow where you're going and you can see. So my story is about down this road, seeing where you're guided and seeing how you can choose differently, and seeing how in that moment, the innocence of me not being able to choose differently before because I didn't know better. And it's just, there's no fault and there's no blame and there's no anger about any of the other players in the game that, you know, were used to create circumstances. Like, it's all literally like a computer program and codes, and there's things within you that are attracting certain things, and you came preloaded with things like 14 years generationally with like ancestral epigenetics and all of that, and then everything that you experience in this life, and then you begin to realize that you chose it, all of it. And why did I choose this? And it's in this giant epiphany of this trigger this beautiful trigger with a big red bow on it that I experienced, that took me right straight back to hell. Because that's what happens when you're living unconsciously and all of these emotions are triggered. You're living hell on earth. You're living in survival. You're living in shame, blame, worry, all of these survival emotions. That's hell. Okay. Heaven is when you're in that problem frequency and you can see and throw that grapple hook up and pull yourself up out of it to the solution frequency, to the knowing, to the peace. If you aren't familiar with this, it's in past videos. You can intuitively ask to be shown, and you will be guided to the video that you're meant to watch. Because the universe is amazing like that, because God works like that, because you can ask questions and the Creator delivers. Test it. Ask to be shown, play a game, ask to be shown a blue car, like a bright blue car. Ask to be shown a specific car, a rare car, something incredible, and then watch it show up in your reality. Those are fun little games I like to play. But what was I saying? So when you can get into heaven and you can see in this moment where you're being guided and what's being triggered, and you can choose differently, I was able to see the emotions come up of judgment, of, in my part, conditional love, which felt very justified at the time, that it was, if you're going to have these behaviors, you're done. You're dead to me. I'm moving on. And now I can see it and see the innocence of it, that it's not just me that's innocent in these situations, it's everybody else. And we're all learning and growing. And I can find the ultimate easy forgiveness and love and surrender. And love is not conditional. I can take this and remove these conditional emotions and feel this overwhelming flood in my heart, where it was almost for the first time that I've really loved unconditionally. That this incident literally was one of the, when you trap emotions in the body, some of them can be in the heart wall, and it's like a closed heart. Like you literally close your heart, and the energy flow in the heart is blocked energetically, and you don't allow yourself to love, and you don't allow yourself to be in situations, you don't allow yourself to be open because love isn't safe. And so this is something that I had in this life experienced many times from childhood, from even young childhood, maybe even in the womb. Like you don't know. I mean, you do know if you go back and you're intuitive and you're feeling for it, but you don't need to know, is what I'm saying. But you can find, and even you can come into this life with that already from past ancestors that had their hearts broken through major traumas and things like that. I definitely have a lot of that I've learned from my grandmother that I didn't even know when she was alive that she went through, until clearing and feeling these feelings and knowing that they're not mine, and they're things even that I experienced earlier in life that I realized I attracted because I had it. So it's just all part of the game, is uncovering it and realizing it. It is so incredible to see it come together and learn deeply. Like I could have never learned this level of unconditional love to where my heart feels like it's like exploding and tears are running down my face, and I absolutely feel every beautiful part of this emotion if I didn't experience all of these circumstances of conditional love. And not only did I experience them, but I dished them out right back. Like, oh, you're going to behave like that? You're dead to me. Like it was two-sided, because you can trace it back in this situation. Did I experience the conditional love, judge it, and then it was within me, and then you are what you judge, and I was this as well, this thing that I judged, until I no longer judged it and saw it for what it was and saw the full picture of it. And it's just so beautiful and incredible. And I'm telling you, some of the worst things that happen in our life end up being the biggest catalyst to the most growth. And it feels like sitting in this place that the sentence might not land, and it might not make sense, and it might be a little bit what's the word? Starts with a C. Controversial. That you chose it for a reason. That sentence is, if you're unconscious, like, what do you mean I chose this? It's very provocative until you're from a conscious point to where you're looking at your life differently and innocently, and you see the swing of it and the beauty that it led to, that isn't always visible when you're in it, when you're in the victim state. And if that's where you're at, I know it, I get you, I see you, I was you, totally get it. There's no shame and blame, and this doesn't have to make sense now. So just enjoy your beautiful journey, and it will make sense when it's meant to make sense. But for those of you that are going through these shadows, and you're cleaning and clearing, and you're finding triggers, beautiful triggers in your reality, and one hits that just lands so differently than all the rest, because when you're on this journey for a while, it's like pretty standard. Like you can see things come up, and you can see judgments, and you just remove them, and it's almost like child's play, because like you see it and it's a game, and you're playing and you're interacting and you're tending to your vibration internally, because that's what's reflected in your reality, because your reality is a complete reflection of what is internally. So when you see something you don't like, you don't judge it and force it and press upon it. You just go within you, like, where is that coming from? Where is that in me? Where is this judgment? And you can find the emotion, you can find the situation maybe even, and you can let it go. But then you have some, like I have this weekend, that just land so differently and provoke such a major trauma that you're just ready to just rock. And I thought that I had, tackled that from all angles, and I felt good about it. And it wasn't until, like I said, the trigger of the event triggered the same emotions that one had, that made me realize that, like, oh, there's something there, and I'm reacting the same way. And it was such a beautiful, powerful transmutation of this suffering and turning it into something so beautiful, that I'm actually so grateful for that experience, because it changed the path. It led to this beautiful path with all of these stepping stones and all of their beauty, and it led to this empowering moment where I got to relive that same situation, even though it was totally different, but to choose differently and to choose the way I wanted it. And it makes me realize that at that same time, do you remember I told you I had that little nagging feeling that like, this is what I wanted, but I couldn't have it? I now realize that that was what I wanted. I believe that was the whispers coming through, and I just wasn't ready to hear them because I was unplugged from source energy, from God, from the universe, from the greatness of it. And when you go back in through meditation and you plug back in and you were in the flow getting it, it guided me this time. Katie, make the left or make the right. And I was able to see and transmute suffering and turn it into something incredible. So may that lead you where you need to go on your special journey, because we are always being guided and we are always creating and we are never done. And you are right here in the present moment, right where you're supposed to be. And there are billions of people on this planet, and there is only one you with this exact reality around you that you are meant to live in this exact place, in this exact time, hearing this exact message. So has this moment already been unfolding for you? Is it coming? Are you going to lean into it? Are you going to react the same way? Are you going to, as Joe Dispenza says, change in that moment? Are you going to see it and take a minute to not react and not respond right away and take some deep breaths and just see it for what it is and see how you're being triggered and find and feel into it what you're meant to learn? And I recommend you to, because it's amazing. So I hope you have a beautiful day. I hope you're having an incredible beginning of our fall weather change, and I hope that you enjoy your beautiful day. You deserve it. Thank you for being here, you beautiful humans. Leave any of your brilliant comments below for others to find, to share your insights, your thoughts, because people read the comments and it often is exactly what you needed to hear. So you could be that for somebody else, and your comment will get where it needs to go, your brilliant insights. Have an amazing rest of your day. If you thought of anyone when watching this video, I always say to forward it to them, because that's your intuition, and the more we can grow our intuition, the better. That helps us everywhere. I hope you have an incredible day. You deserve it.